Welcome to the Home Business Podcast with Richard Captain Henderson, publisher of Home Business Magazine, and Sherilyn Colleen, managing editor. This how-to show helps you successfully operate your home-based business.
Greetings and welcome to the Home Business Podcast. I'm Richard Captain Henderson, your host of Home Business TV.
And I'm Sherilyn Colleen, your co-host.
Let's secure, foresee, and get underway. As a home-based business owner, can you really sell without selling? Can one leverage social media, online reviews, websites, and other marketing efforts to spur sales without ever picking up the phone or cold calling that brother-in-law of yours?
Marketing guru and expert Brian Greenberg has published a new book that provides entrepreneurs with proven methods to generate sales. The book, The Salesman Who Doesn't Sell, shows how one can leverage online mediums to generate sales with minimum effort.
A successful SEO marketing professional with decades of experience developing passive income business online, Greenberg, the salesman who doesn't sell, shares with our podcast viewers today his unique time-honed strategies to drastically increase sales without putting in overtime hours.
So greetings, Brian Greenberg. Say hello to our podcast audience.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Okay, all engines ahead standard. At the end of today's show, we'll share with you our best home-based business tip. Today's tip, a press release should be an important part of your home-based business marketing toolbox. What is one of the easiest ways to ensure that your press release is read? Stay tuned and we'll give you the answer at the end of today's show.
So Brian Greenberg, let's talk selling and sales. It starts with differentiating you and your home business from the market and competitors. So what's the best way to differentiate your business and accelerate sales growth at the same time?
The best way to differentiate your business these days is to be fanatical about your customer's experience. Some people call this user experience. Some people call it CX. It's become the defining characteristic. There was a recent survey by Walker in 2017, and they actually came to the conclusion that actual customer experience will actually be the main brand differentiator, even above price and product. Now, how do you measure customer experience is a question that usually comes up, and that's done with reviews. Now, something you'll see on a lot of websites that you'll be visiting is something called Net Promoter Score. Now, when you go to a website and you're done with some of the process, you'll see a pop-up and they'll say, you know, how likely are you to recommend this service to a friend? And it'll be a 1 through 10. And that's actually the standard that a lot of companies are implementing to measure how successful their customer experience is. And what they find is customers that have the highest customer experience ratings or net promoter scores, such as Amazon or Zappos or Nordstrom's, sometimes Adobe, those are the companies that actually have the fastest growth and also the biggest growth over the long term.
So kind of tying into this, not every home-based business owner, has a specific e-commerce business, but this would apply because every business owner should have a website and that, that backs up what they do, even if it's outside of e-commerce. And so even this should apply to all business owners in that measuring that satisfaction while they're online.
Absolutely. Part of the thing of being a salesman who doesn't sell is leveraging everything you can do online. So you might not have a website, but you really should have some sort of presence online, whether it be in Yelp or Google business pages, because what we find is before people make purchases, they'll look you up. And they'll look you up to make sure you're legitimate, and they'll be looking for reviews. So it's very important to obviously have good, happy customers, but also get them to leave you those reviews. And if you have all these good reviews, usually that's the tipping point or the last thing someone will do before actually making a purchase.
Interesting. So we'll talk maybe a little bit about the show. So, we've got to translate that experience into one that they're satisfied with. I mean, obviously you want to have a satisfied customer experience, but I guess one of the challenges I see here is, how do you get people off the fence to leave that review? And maybe you can hit that a little bit further on in the show, getting people to actually respond.
Of course.
Well, selling isn't going to happen by itself. A home-based business entrepreneur needs to take smart actions to get the ball rolling with sales. So what exactly, Brian, does a salesman who doesn't sell do? And I think we touched on a few of these in the last question.
A salesman who doesn't sell is someone who provides all the necessary information to influence a customer into a sale without needing to sometimes even talk to a customer, or definitely without the need to have any sort of pushy sales process. Now, the tenets of the strategy is, number one, to be very customer service focused. After you do that, it's very important to learn how to leverage your brand reputation and leverage it to accelerate growth, to build trust, and to shorten the sales process, and also increase the lifetime value of customers. Now, some of the things that I teach is, how to conduct your online marketing so you'll be found when people are looking for you. Like you said, how to generate those 5-star reviews. And also, it's very important, especially with someone running a home-based business, is to learn how to delegate, automate, and systematize your business so the business can run without you having to be there all the time.
So I've taken it's much easier to automate processes when you're working with them online, when those processes are online. That's something that every entrepreneur can do. Absolutely.
Even people that aren't online, there's so many things you could automate, from accounting or to verify appointments. And, a lot of businesses, I think it would be so valuable to them to collect the email addresses or even text numbers to keep in touch with customers moving forward.
So it sounds like, as your customers going through the process online and seeing things online, you want to program your marketing in there so that you almost maybe anticipating what they need to see and making sure that it's presented to them. And I imagine time is also a big factor here. They can't click around. It's all got to kind of present to them in an intelligent flow where you go from one step to the other, and they see what they need to see and not get frustrated and click off the site.
Absolutely. You want to think about all the different questions your customers would have. And if you could answer those, that's the tipping point where you can push them into a sale. Now, these are questions about how much are the pricing, what's your return policy, how to get a hold of you, where to find reviews on you. Any questions that may come up, it's very easy to answer them, especially online.
I like that point again on where to find reviews. So you're recommending maybe even go out and find those reviews and put like links to them, or some way to get to, because I imagine there's other places that people could get reviews beyond just going to Yelp or something.
Absolutely. Look, I always recommend people collect reviews on their own first. These are reviews you can control. That way, if somebody gives you a negative review, you have the option to fix it, number one, but also not to display it on your website or anywhere else. So, first ask them for reviews. And look, the best way to do that is by email. Mm-hmm. Have them fill out your own review form. And then you take the customers that actually gave you a 5-star review and then ask them, hey, thank you so much for that review. Can you please leave a review for me on Yelp or the Better Business Bureau or Google Business Pages? And it also helps if you even include the text that they maybe wrote on the original review. If you built that relationship and they really are satisfied with the service, as long as you ask, people will overwhelmingly leave those reviews for you.
Do you think it's okay to take that review and, text paste it into a page on your own website where you say, reviews or, customer testimonials? Is that also an effective way to back this up?
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone should do that. Now, okay, so let's say you have your own reviews on your website. Those are wonderful. Although the last step people take, and this is done by focus groups, is, they almost don't 100% believe you because you control those reviews. So they'll take into account those reviews, but they'll also want to go to a third-party website, a review site that you don't control. Mm-hmm. They'll be looking for negative reviews and how many positive reviews, and they'll make the decision on what the percentage chance is that they'll have a good experience.
Interesting. Well, before moving on to our next topic, I'd like to highlight this show's sponsor, Deborah Kay of Global Venture Services. Deborah Kay is one of the network marketing industry's top executives. She has worked with hundreds of aspiring home-based entrepreneurs to achieve business success. She has a simple system that you can follow to generate income quickly from home. For more information, visit www.workparttimelivefulltime.com or our podcast website for more information on sponsors.
So a key facet of ongoing sales is to leverage that selling with your short and long-term customers. Most of your business should always come from existing customers. Brian, how can businesses increase the lifetime sales value of its customers?
The number one thing is, in my opinion, always be nice. So in my companies, I tell all my employees ABN, and it's kind of a play on ABC. So always be nice. So instead of always be closing, we want to always be nice. You want to build that relationship. You know, Tony Hsieh, who's great at this, you know, he wrote a book. He calls it Delivering Happiness. Mm-hmm. You know, he's not always so concerned about making money on every transaction. It's more important to make sure that every transaction the customer's happy and you're building that relationship so that they have a better chance of coming back. Now, the happier customers are, obviously the last thing you need to do is stay in touch. So again, I prefer email. It's a great way to stay in touch with customers. There's a lot of great email marketing software programs that people can get. They're not too expensive. I always recommend ActiveCampaign or MailChimp. Both of these email marketing software, they're great for beginners, but they're also nice because as you grow and you can pretty much become huge, and that software will grow with you. Mm-hmm. Now, besides, obviously, email, you want to, you can call them every once in a while or keep in touch on social media, just so when the buying decision comes along another time, you're top of mind.
You know, just to follow up, a great point. I have found, particularly in the online social media age, that it's almost impossible to get a phone call through to a good customer. I'll try, how's it going and how's everything going? Do a short call, and I eventually give up. And I'll send an email then. An hour later, I'll have a reply. Oh yeah, it's all going good. Thanks for checking in. And it seems like everything is just moving to that email. But I think to the customer you're reaching out to, whether you made a phone call or you made an email, in their mind you've made that connection.
Absolutely, and text messages. It's something that has been really beneficial to us. Pretty much every number someone has is usually a mobile number. Text messages is just an amazing way to just say something real short and just give them hey, you're giving me a call back type of thing.
Hey, I hadn't really thought about that. Text messaging. I have, that's another way to reach out. And I imagine it's just it's a lot quicker, particularly if you have a short message, and you'll get it through more quickly to your customer by reaching out through text instead of email. Well, selling without selling builds on many key principles. One that stands out is trust. People buy from those whom they trust. Brian, how can business owners and their websites build trust? I think maybe you've got a little bit more points you can hit on that. You've talked a little bit about the customer experience and, keeping customers happy and dealing with reviews. Is there anything else that jumps out that we can, sharpen the saw here on, building trust with our customers?
Absolutely. It's the antidote to distrust is transparency. So the last thing you want to do is don't hide anything, especially on your websites. So make sure to, let the people know who own the website. Make sure you give them your email address, an image of you if possible, your physical address, your pricing, your return policy, everything. If a customer has a question that you can't answer right away, it's a huge barrier to the sales process. It's going to have to include a call or an email, and that's what we don't want to do. We want to make the process as short as possible, and to do that is transparency. Especially millennials, they hugely dislike any sort of hidden caveats. So absolutely, the antidote is transparency.
Hey, just on that point, would you recommend shooting a short YouTube of yourself and then posting that up on your website to just do a general introduction to your customers? Can that help build trust?
Absolutely. It builds up accountability because so many websites, you can't tell who owns it. Now, if you put your face on there, even a link to your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile, they know that, you have accountability. So if something does go wrong, there's some sort of recourse. You're also building up what's called a similarity effect. You're letting them know that you're similar to them, and that also builds trust.
So just the fact that you've put the information up there in the links, they may not click those links and go visit them. The fact that you've put them there, shows that you're being transparent and helps build that trust.
Absolutely. It's called social proof. And the more of it that you can display on your website, the better chance you have of swaying somebody into a sale. You can display all the associations you belong to, all your social media profiles, anything you can do to show that you're a real person and to be transparent is going to be beneficial.
So it sounds like you'd be a proponent of LinkedIn. You put a link on that too. Okay.
Okay, so now it's clear that your business's online presentation is a key partner in being able to sell without selling. How should someone go about getting a website for their business? So how do they start or upgrade their current website to look more professional and sales friendly at the same time?
This is a big problem for a lot of people. They want to get a website, but they just don't know how to start. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I would recommend is to actually not go with an agency. A lot of people will find a local agency that has, 5+ employees, although agencies charge about 3 times more than an individual freelancer. You're going to be paying for their rent and building up their reputation, which is money that it's better spent on building up your brand and your reputation. So I always use freelancer websites, and I recommend the freelancer website Upwork.com or Freelancer.com. And they have a really great process on these websites. You can actually post a project, and you'll have people bid on your project from all over the world, and you can vet anybody who wants to do it. Now, so you'll end up with a project that'll cost a lot less. You'll have direct access to the person actually doing the website, and furthermore, there's more accountability. So if something goes wrong with an agency, there's not that much accountability. With a freelancer site, the actual platform will get in the middle to handle any disputes.
Oh, okay.
And what's great about a site like Upwork is that you can leave a review as well after they finish the project.
Oh.
So you can help colleagues and other people in your industry. And it's a good way to discern if they are qualified from the start.
Absolutely. Freelancers, will build their careers a lot on how many reviews they get on these freelancer websites. So it's definitely in their best interest to over-deliver. And that's why it's such a great place for people to get work done.
It sounds great, and I think it's a great idea. I'm always just in the back of my mind playing devil's advocate, just to see things, to be aware of. So a lot of times on the website, you've developed it, and as it grows and moves along, you may be developing that. I know I have over a year or two. Have you ever seen that to be a problem with freelancers.com? In other words, you need to maintain some continuity with a particular freelancer, or they're usually it's pretty stable. They're a pretty stable group that you can work with the future, because you wouldn't want to start over with a new freelancer if you just wanted to do some development work after you've built that website.
My experience has always been that I haven't had a problem rehiring the same freelancer. I have freelancers that I've been working with for over 5 years. Not only that, it's important to build your website on a platform that it's not difficult to find freelancers. So I always recommend, use a site like WordPress, or use a development language that's, a PHP rather than something a little bit more difficult like Java. So the pool of freelancers is going to be very large. Mm-hmm. Now, one developer may not be able to do the whole website, and that's fine too. You'll see a lot of freelancers that are very good at programming or development work. And then you can find another freelancer to do design work.
Mm-hmm.
The development work is usually called back end work, and the design work is called front end. So if you can work, those two people together, you can save just so much money. And like I said, you're posting projects, so you have just a much better chance of getting a really good result.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you may have to step in a little bit and do a little project management work, if you could call it that, but it's well worth yourself getting involved, and that you'll definitely save a lot of money than just taking it over to a one-stop agency. Well, Brian, this has been a great discussion on sales and moving forward with selling without selling. Do you have any final points you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I'd just like to say that I have a book that came out called The Salesman Who Doesn't Sell, and I'm giving away the audiobook version for free on my website, truebluelifeinsurance.com/book. So please feel free to go there and download the book free of charge.
Brian Greenberg, thank you for being such a great guest on the Home Business Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
To learn more about Brian Greenberg and his book, The Salesman Who Doesn't Sell, visit our podcast website at homebusinessmag.com for more information.
Okay, the answer to today's home business tip. A press release should be an important part of every home-based business marketing toolbox. What is one of the easiest ways to ensure that your press release gets read? Make your press release newsworthy, and most importantly, always make sure to write the press release in the third person. This offers you the best opportunity to getting your press release read. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Home Business Podcast. Share your feedback with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and at our website, homebusinessmag.com.
Visit the website for information on advertising. Subscribe free to our newsletter. Please visit our sponsors. For more information, visit homebusinessmag.com or the Home Business Expo at homebusinessexpo.com.
I'm Richard Captain Henderson saying anchors away.
And I'm Sherilyn Colleen. We'll talk with you soon. Until then,
make it a great home-based biz day.